Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 50 of Thessia, our Australian-inspired build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. 50 episodes, if you can believe it, of the Aussie build already, and to commemorate that, we do have a couple of new assets. First of all, from Bradders, another billboard at the request of Terry. Welcome to Broker, which has of course been graffitied into Welcome to Broken, which is very clever, really cool. Got some nice cool graffiti on here. A little bit of a pink border to it, which is bright, I guess. But it's a really cool graffiti billboard. I love the welcome to Broken with all the minus on it and the exclamation mark and the question mark. Very cool. And then Terry, of course, our flag making legend, has now developed a flag for Broker, which is very, very cool. So we'll have this one up here as well. This is Broker's flag, if we can get a good look at it there. Really nice work from Terry, of course. We'll always use this as an excuse to go and check out his other flags if we can remember where we had them. Yes, we got Sentinels over here with the sharks. Very nice. Super cool. Absolutely love to see it. So, legends as always, thank you so much, Bradders and Terry. Thank you for the continued asset work on Thessia. It's always really cute to see these kind of custom assets coming in. We also had a great suggestion as well last week from Cody to actually put in a wreck in the cove here, which is really cool and definitely something we're going to do, I think. So probably about there. I think we even had an elaboration that, you know, this could be the reason why the tourism industry died here alongside the industry, because it's just polluted the cove. So super cool. We could put some polluted water around it, but our polluted water is lava in Thessia. So we have to be careful. But really cool, really like it. Great idea that to have the old shipwreck in the cove there, isn't it, on the beach? Very nice indeed. But today's episode, we're going to head over here to the other side of Broken from where we worked on last week. Because I'd like to do a kind of pretty crappy, rundown, dirty fishing marina, where there's also some private boats here as well, using inspiration from Port Hedland again. Port Hedland in the Northern Territories is incredibly industrial. I think there's obviously some kind of like bulk aggregate mining going on here. It's pretty insane. Editing Egg will be leaving some Google Earth footage in for us anyway. But there's definitely some inspiration from the shape of the marina and the general layout of the area here. So that's what I want to do. So we're going to get some fishing involved. So I want to really cut this down on a layer as well. So let's say, for example, we'll have the marina fill about this space here, I think, which should be pretty cool. Something like that. And then I would like a little breakwater coming out here as well. So let's run that there. And then what we will actually do is we're going to need to let the water play here anyway. But we'll use a pathway to create a little breakwater against the marina here. And then we'll also use, I think, this space over here to add some ferries into the area as well. We do have ferries passing through this area, so it's going to make sense, I think. So let's start here. We'll go ahead and grab our ferry stop, and let's have it down here. So let's set this to the height so people aren't parachuting into the ferry. Something along those sorts of lines, I think, should be okay. Pretty happy with that. And then we'll just use a little 2x2 curve here to get back to the top. And then a little bit of network multi-slope should be welcome here. Let's go for maybe the top of the road down to the bottom there. Might be quite nice. Give us a slight switchback vibe, shouldn't it? Yeah, lots of detail options to be had there, I think. I'll be happy with that. And then I'll probably use node control as well, just to open up this corner here, stretch that out a touch. Cool. So let's grab our park life path. I think we'll just go with the regular one. There's not a massive amount of differentiation between the campus paths, I don't think, is there? So let's just have this go there, I think. I think that's all I'm after. Now, once we've done that, what I do want to do is some more terraforming. So we'll begin to accentuate that later, and then let's just line up our fishing marinas here. So with the fishing, we want it to be kind of as run down as possible, I suppose. So that one's pretty small and tasteful, actually, isn't it? I think I might be pretty happy with that one. That's just like the generic fishing harbour, isn't it? It is. I mean, what do we actually have to fish here? Shellfish is just... Well, shellfish and anchovy, I suppose, are the only options. This would be the anchovy one. Yeah, and I think the shellfish is bordering on a little bit too much for what I'm after, I think. Bit too big. I don't know. We'll probably end up mixing them out muesli, do, don't we? With one of them in, again, I don't want it to be, like, crazy high up, so... Probably about that height should be pretty good. So, let's just drag this inland, and we'll roughly eye up where we want it. So, let's leave enough room for the road to kind of switch back down. Might even do some more industrial looking keys here as well, perhaps. I guess we'll see what happens. But something to that effect, I think. Yeah. Let's get this terraformed out then. We'll make it so it's fairly deep marina. Not ocean deep, but deep enough. Fantastic. So the water has subsided and we've got our assets in now. I think do want them a touch lower toward the ground though, so now we can mess about with that terrain a little bit more. Do have to be careful though, the fishing harbours. I think that should be okay. And then hopefully this one will just follow a height command down to this one. It will indeed. And let's get these connected in. Super. So we can do with finding a way down for these guys. I guess over here is going to be the best way. And then during our detone time-lapse, we will also bring in some prop boats and probably piers off of the breakwater here as well, I think. And I think we'll just use that same network multi-slope command here. Let's go from here to here, I think. Would be quite nice. So if we did want to use some keys, I think I'd probably stay away from the content creator ones just because they're fairly landscape. Which leaves the vanilla key really is the only option. So if we were to snap into the grid here, let's just have a little look at what we think. I think to get some fencing in between here as well might be quite nice. Probably add to the bit more of the rundown vibe I'm trying to go for with this. Not too bad. We could do, I guess, multi-layered keys here, couldn't we? Why don't we snap into the grid? Break this key open here, and then have something like that. And then we can use this to actually come around this way. It's also come onto road length as well. Then keep it going this way, and then we can form our little prop marinas off of this as well. Might be quite cute. Probably use node control as well, just to really square off the corner of that key there, I think. Does make a world of difference doing that, I think, doesn't it? So let's use our move it marquee to select just this section of key up this way. And this one as well. And then we'll say everyone to the same height as this node over here. That should level everyone off, I think. We're going to get some terrain junk here, aren't we? But I think it's going to be okay. We should be alright with it. Nothing that a few little retaining wall rocks shouldn't see to. And then let's set everyone to this height over here. You shouldn't be encroaching upon the marinas here. Grab this node and push it back a little bit. Cool, so once our water line calms down again, we should have a pretty sensible looking marina, I think. Very nicely tiered into the town there as well, isn't it? You can really see that cut away from the rest of Broker over here now. And this seems like a perfect spot as well for another one of Terry's flags, doesn't it? Right by the port. So let's see if we can get this in here while we remember. And I guess which way? I know the flag plates are going to be on me if they're not blowing the same way. So we'll have to make sure. So which way? That's pointing toward the volcano, isn't it, pretty much? So let's do the same thing over here then. So spin it around a little bit. Can be a little awkward to tell these flags sometimes. They have a bit of a weird geometry to them. There we go. So now you can see the broker flag as you pull into the port, which is quite nice. So happy with that. It's also going to give our lighthouse purpose as well, of course, which is always appreciated. Let's go ahead and get those ferries hooked in too. And then we'll get the boats flowing as well. Fabulous. So I think we've now subsided all flooding. And we should be okay, I think. Very nice. So I reckon we probably also want to bring this pathway here down to the same height as the nodes of the key, which should be doable. Might cause a little bit more flooding, but it's kind of nice to flood, because after trying to make maps in CS2 with the really odd water mechanics of CS2 compared to this one, it's actually nice to experience a flood in CS1 now. Cool. Let's bring the floating flag down a little bit too. And we'll have this. So what we might actually do is do a slightly different shape with this pathway here. Let's grab ourselves a little curve, and we'll do a little 2 unit by 2 unit curve here. Grab all nodes, set them to the same height. We'll eat the one in the middle, and then we can make a little kind of park headland out of this, can't we? Bit of overgrowth. You know, where people used to come and sit and enjoy the view, but of course Broker stinks now, so no one comes here anymore. I think it's a bit more significant there at the end, isn't it? Very nice. There is something very satisfying about marinas in CS1, isn't there? Big fan of this. So hopefully that water will go away. It doesn't look too permanent. It's not, I don't know where it's coming in from actually. Is it over here? Yeah, not entirely sure. But there are a couple of people getting on and off at Broker, which is quite nice. 9 people heading away. 0 on this. I'm guessing it's just waiting for the line to restagger now, right? We'll probably have some new boats on the way because the line's gotten longer, hasn't it? We've got 26 boats on this line now. I mean, some of them are pretty busy. This one here, 59 out of 60. Where's he just come from? He's just left Ascension, hasn't he? So he's coming into Valkyrie now. So these boats definitely get used. You know, people getting off at R.Yakshi too. Which, speaking of, we haven't shown this in episode actually. We slightly amended R.Yakshi's pier to just look a little bit nicer. And then we also amended the view from the super mansion here as well. Obviously, well, yeah, we got Mitch and Jerry barbecue as well, which was very cool. Thank you for hanging out on the Thessia live streams. We have a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm happy with this thing. So let's turn our attention up towards the top of the town. So again, what once was a thriving waterfront has now just been left to probably have industry in it. So I reckon we'll have a warehouse up at the top here. And we can now store fish in these, can't we? We can, but we'll store fish in here. And then I probably wouldn't actually mind partnering the other fishing assets with it. Which we'll grab while we've remembered. So we'll have fish factory is pollutive. Oh, but that sits and fits, doesn't it? There we go. Can't deny that. That's perfect. We'll have to bear in mind that that is pollutive, though. I think what we will do is actually switch them around. So let's grab this one over here. And then we'll have the factory on the other side. Something like that, although not on the road. There we go. So there'll be a really nice detailable space to be made here with concrete and whatnot to just expand the props and details around it. That'll be quite nice. And then to actually bring in some residential, because these are clearly kind of earmarked for residential grids, aren't they? What I wouldn't mind doing for the residential palette near the marina, at least, is to say, for example, imagine once upon a time, this street was lined kind of shoulder to shoulder with housing and accommodation for the workers and whatnot, but over time, people have obviously left, so I'd like to delete the occasional house from this kind of pattern. So sticking roughly with these sorts of assets, we know these ones by now, we've used them many times before. Is to then come in where we have deleted them, perhaps with a little bit of chain link fencing. Now let's throw this on a fence fill with the line tool. And then to almost just kind of mark out kind of like a foreclosure, basically, where the house has been either demolished. Now I guess we could also detail this out with props as well, couldn't we? So I guess we can get an abandoned or a wreckage or something. I don't think we can pick out an abandoned building, can we? Which is a bit of a shame. But we can certainly bring home the kind of crappy vibe with props. Kind of long grasses and stuff by here. We could also go to the workshop as well and use some of those kind of keep out signs, you know, that we use in ILOS. Like it has been kind of like foreclosed by the bank. And you know, I suppose we could actually just, you know, grab this house and keep it there. Of course it will still remain connected, but then it at least looks as though it's been kind of foreclosed by the bank and, you know, not particularly nice place to live anymore. And then maybe we can have a little bit of Thessia dry belt around that as well, just to accentuate those overgrown vibes. Maybe an older tree as well, possibly an oak would be quite welcome. Maybe one or two, and then probably a little blanket covering of some vanilla undergrowth. Without trying to overdo it, I think is quite important. But of course, from the gameplay perspective, this is still functioning as someone's house. But from the aesthetic perspective, it's kind of a foreclosed house by the old fishing marina, right? So a slightly different palette we can bring in for the residential that still remains around by the old working industrial marina here. Might be a lot of fun. I think that's what we'll do with that, especially around these sort of 2 or 3 main grids here. In and around the fish factory, of course. Not a particularly pleasant place to live. So I reckon we should have a fair bit of fun with that. So let's move into some detailing. We got some parking around here, sort out any inconsistencies with the keys, get the rest of the marina set up with the breakwater rocks, and then get our terrible, overgrown, foreclosed houses knocking around again as well. Which these assets are perfect for, aren't they? Love King Leno. What a beautiful, beautiful detail. Look at all this stuff around here. Absolutely great, that, isn't it? Really cool. Either way, let's detail up Broker's rundown industrial fishing marina, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's have a little eye cast over Broker Harbour, shall we? So we've got all our rocks in against the breakwater now to protect the marina from the huge waves via the ocean liners, which is a little bit of an optical illusion there, isn't it? Toward the map edge. So they are now protected from super waves, of course. With some pier and boat work across the marina as well, stuff we've used in Thessia before. Thankfully, with nice, sensible heights against the waterline for people getting into the boats, including this gentleman here. Enjoying, or hopefully about to enjoy a day's sailing anyway. Over by the marinas, we have just expanded the props that are present on the assets themselves, just so it kind of makes sense for extra space here for those marinas to make use of. And then this continues around this way as well. Did end up actually unsurface painting a little bit of it, just found there was too much concrete here. And then more prop work around here as well, before our marina pathway links back in down here. And people can get back up into two different levels, which is very nice. I really like how all this waterfront area turned out. And the retaining rock wall continues up here as well. We arrive at the ferry stop, which is getting a little bit of use now. Quiet as I come over to it, of course, but there are people actually queuing up here to get onto it, which is very nice. So people heading on to Ardat Yakshi from here, I guess, right? Yeah. Yeah, Ardat Yakshi, and then they'll go on to Ascension. So the ferry network is getting busier, which is always nice. Always surprised by it. So happy to see that. And lots of greenbelt and overgrowth around the shorelines as we come up to a little car parking spot here for the area where people can park if they're working nearby, with plenty of green belt design around it, which is very cute to see. Even people cycling down to the ferry stop there as well, which is nice, isn't it? Love to see it. Just fleshed out the fish factory and warehouse combination with some light prop and fence work, nothing serious. A couple of decals down here as well, just to dirty that concrete up. With some trucks and garbage props and bins and whatnot, so just pretty nice around the back end of the industry in the town here. I did end up upgrading the road into the poorly maintained service road, just for that kind of more run-down look. We did something pretty similar with other parts of Broker as well. And then we arrive into these kind of foreclosed houses, right? Like they're getting ready to be either demolished or sold or whatnot, or the occupant has been evicted and whatnot because they can't pay their mortgage. Just a sign of Broker's kind of old collapsed economy. So, really like it. Which is a bit of a morbid thing to say, I realise. We've also done some nice fence work here as well. Again, using those broken fence props, which are just so nice to look at over the marina. Imagine maybe some unruly kids have pushed these down, or indeed it's just weathered due to exposure to those ocean winds over the years. So overgrowth and fence in between there, which turned out really nicely. And then we'll come down here as well. To a little bit of a high street, there's some commercial going on here, and there's a particular sight line here just past the fence that protects the marina to the old style commercial. With just literally old man McGee. He's the only person left in town. That's a screenshot right there, isn't it? That's absolutely perfect. We're really happy with how that turned out. Just a nice old high street here. As the fish delivery van goes past, and also speak of, here is one of the Ascension rum, brewery, distillery, rum vans, which is really cool to see. Love seeing another town's branding over here, right? They've ordered some Ascension premium rum. Absolutely fantastic. Love those custom assets for the city. And then this continues around the whole area as well, as you've seen before. And then we did move back to our normal palette of housing as we head back toward the centre of Broker over here. And I reckon we'll fill out the rest of these spaces here in some live streams. We'll probably do, I reckon, probably one more episode in Broker, I think. There's some really nice kind of scrapyard and local industry vibes I want to take from Boulder, near the Super Pit in Australia, which the town is, of course, inspired by. I think we'll fill this space with some scrapyards and some kind of dirtier looking sort of local cash in hand industry, if you like, next to these sort of super conglomerate industry. So we have another episode in Broker, and then I think we will head over to build Thessia International Airport over here, I think. So it's incoming the airport. We're not that far away from it now. I know there are a lot of you waiting for that build, so it will be on its way shortly, I think. And then that really completes the build, and with a little bit of greenbelt, also dropped in a bank over here as well while we were talking about foreclosures. So it makes sense for a broker to have a bank, wouldn't it? So that's here now. And then we blend back into some greenbelt where we just did some surface painter for some sort of child's playground. Simple green spaces, and there's another park down here as well. At one of the tourism parks, and then this spills into more greenbelt design, simple dirt pathways, and also dropped in some death care here as well, because there was quite a few dead people knocking about in Broker. So just some simple cemetery work to add a bit of service industry and some death care for the town. And nice little churchyard, and it all came together pretty well, and really changed up the shape of the landscape here as well, haven't we? But I really enjoyed it, and if you have likes, comments, and shares below, it really do help me out on our march to 100,000 subscribers, so thank you for all support on the channel. If you find yourself having fun at any point during Thessia or any of our other series, maybe consider supporting the Overcharged Egg Patreon. It's down below. There's early access, a Patreon exclusive podcast, amongst many other things, so head over there if you're interested. And of course, the Instant Gaming link is always worth a look as well if you haven't checked that out yet. Otherwise, thank you for all the continued support on CS1 content, especially the modded one as well. I know Thessia is kind of the least sought after of the series, I think, but I'm really happy to keep building it. It's a lot of fun, this map, and we're not done with it yet. Indeed, thank you for continuing to support it and watch it. Those views and interactions always encourages me and spurs me on to keep making content for this city. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Otherwise, please do enjoy some cinematics of the Broker Harbour. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.